December. A season of Christmas celebrations filled with food, families, and of course, gifts. In my opinion, watches are super great gifts. Why watches are such great gifts? First is that it is super practical. It is something that you wear every day and it tells you the time. So it is both practical and functional. Second is it's super versatile. You can practically get a watch for a 5-year-old kid to a 70-year-old grandma. Thinking about it right now, I think it's super cool if there's an old grandma rocking like a Grand Seiko or something. That's my goal. Third reason why watches are such great gifts is that it is very unforgettable. Whenever the person takes a look on their watch, the person will be reminded of you. Fourth is timeless. Unlike smart watches that need replacement after probably 3 years or so, if you get a good watch, you can even wear it after 20 years. Fifth reason is that it is valuable. Even for affordable watches, it somehow watches has this ability to retain value. Even an affordable Casio, okay? So in this video, I will list down 12 watches to give this Christmas. So first up, here's my criteria for this list. It must come from a reputable watch brand company with good track records. The watch must be value for money and priced below or under $100. Let's get started. I've organized this video into 4 watch types. First is your digital silver Casios. Second is your robust G-Shocks. Third is your feel watches. Fourth and lastly is your classy dress watches. Now let's start with the good old digital watches. When it comes to digital watches, there's only one brand you can go for, Casio. Despite its ridiculously low price tags, Casio has been regarded to be one of the best brands out there. This style of silver Casio is very suitable for people who like the retro look. There are lots of digital silver Casios out there with really just a little bit slight variation from one another. All of it honestly look pretty much the same. Here are the ones that I recommend after trying them on my wrist. The Casio A168 is a bigger brother of the A158, which is a silver version of the famous F91W. As you can see based on the photos, they look pretty much the same. But the A168 is slightly thicker and does have a little bit more of wrist presence. Also, this particular model has a better backlight than the A158. And this watch is definitely an iconic watch. Heck, it even appeared in the movie Wonder Woman 1984. As you can see in this poster, Chris Pine is seen wearing the Casio A168. If you like this A168, but you prefer to get something thinner, slicker, and perhaps more elegant, and here's my recommendation. The Casio A700. With only the thickness of 6mm, this is the thinnest Casio ever. You can either opt for this mesh bracelet or this retro looking one. The mesh featured a silver, plain, elegant dial, while the retro bracelet features a more colorful 80s looking black dial. And the next watch I would recommend is the Casio AE1200, or better known as the Casio Royale. If your loved one like James Bond and also geeky gadgets, this is one to go for. In the 1983 James Bond movie Octopussy, he was spotted wearing a Seiko G757502 or Sports 100. That's a very long name. And the Casio AE1200 looks like this. Known as Casio Royale, which is a play on the word Casino Royale by James Bond. As you can see, this AE1200 look a little bit similar. This caused a cult following of this watch. The best part of this watch is that it has a world time function. Basically, with a push of a button, you get to see different time zones, which It's super cool. At one point of time, I actually owned this watch and I modded a little bit by removing the 10-year battery and illuminator because I thought it would be cleaner that way. But after that, I decided to sell off the watch because I feel it's overly bulky and big for my wrist size. Which brings me to my next point. If you like this Casio Royale, but it's probably too big for you, consider the A500. This Casio A500 is a smaller and slender looking watch with the same features as the Casio Royale. Even while filming this, I'm getting the itch to purchase one of these to replace my empty spot for the AE1200 that I sold. And next up we have the G-Shocks. But what led to this creation of this toughest watch of all time? Heartbroken by the broken mechanical pocket watch gifted by his father, Kikuo Ibe, a Casio engineer, set up a team known as Project Team Tough to create the unbreakable watch based upon a triple 10 philosophy. 10 bar water resistance, 10-year battery life, survive a 10-meter drop. Basically, a G-Shock is called as G-Shock if it survives all these three things. After throwing and destroying more than 200 prototypes, the first ever G-Shock was born in the year 1983, the DW5000C. And therefore, this is the one that I would recommend, Casio DW5600. Following the design on the first G-Shock, the DW5600 is one of the most recognizable and famous G-Shocks out there. From throwing it to hitting it with your golf club, you can practically do anything with this watch and you don't need to worry. One thing to note, however, because of this design of the shock absorption design, this may wear a little big on the small wrist. I actually went and tried it on and I thought I would like it, but somehow it feels too big and it looked a little bit awkward on my hand. But I'm still thinking whether I want to get one for myself, but I just feel it's a little bit big on my hand. So a tip would be drop by a retail G-Shock shop and try it on and just to see whether it fits. If you like the G-Shock, but the DW5600 just doesn't cut it for you, consider the Casio Oak. Specific model that I will suggest here is the Casio GMA S2100, nicknamed after AP Royal Oak. These Casio models are known as Casio Oak because of its similar octagonal watch case of the luxury watch. This is one of the most famous models out there when it comes to Casio G-Shocks. I personally, however, tend to overlook this Casio Oaks because I thought I didn't like it and I thought it didn't really suit me and I thought I would like the DW5600 better. But guess what? Surprise, surprise, your taste towards watch does change. So drop by your retail shop and just try it on. That's what I did. I went to the shop and I thought, well, no harm done, right? And I decided to try on one of these Casio Oak, which I understand is the smaller version of the normal Casio Oak. They tend to market it more towards the woman's side, but I honestly feel any guy can pull off this size as well, especially the black one and the white one. So after trying on these Casio Oaks on my wrist hand, and wow, I really like it, which I didn't expect me to say that, because before this I just didn't like G-Shock that much, and I told myself the only G-Shock that I will probably get is the DW5600. But after trying on this Casio Oak, wow, it just looks so good. I really like, and I start to appreciate every little design and every detail of the watch. And then the next thing I know, I came back home and I straight away YouTube everything about this watch, and there you have it, another rabbit hole for me to dive into. The next watch category that I will suggest is field watch. For those who like the military aesthetic and a highly legible watch, get them field watches. I have two recommendations here for field watches. First is the Timex Expedition. If you do not mind the ticking from a quartz movement, this watch may be for you. What I like most about this watch is that the Indiglo function. It is a uniquely Timex watch features that lights up the entire dial of the watch, making it super easy to read the time. Look at the bright glowing watch, so bright. Next we have the Seiko SNK. This is a watch that I personally still own and I love it. I'm glad I got it at a lower price compared to the current price now. The case size of 37mm, making it a perfect watch for those with small wrists. For a full review for this watch, I'll link it down below the description. If you want something more of a dressy, elegant, and something to wear in formal events, consider the classy dress watches. The Casio MTP VT01 or LTP VT01. These analog Casios are underrated in my opinion. Not many people talk about it as it is not as popular as the digital Casio. I actually bought this watch as a couple watch pair to gift it to my parents months ago. And these are some images taken by my parents. You are far better off to get these Casio watches than those stupidly expensive but cheap quality Daniel Wellington watches. There are other variants as well, different colors, different leather. You can check all of that out in my description below. Next, I'll recommend one of the Seiko 5 model, which is the Seiko SNKL. Specifically SNKL 41, which is the white one, the SNKL 45, which is the black one. These watches, they look super good, and by now probably you will know what Seiko 5 is, and if you don't understand what is Seiko 5, what Seiko 5 has to offer, check out my review on one of the Seiko 5 watches over here. You can check that out or I'll link it below the description. Most of the Seiko 5 right now, they have increased in price. As of filming this video right now, these two watches are still below $100, so get them while it's still at this price. Next is the Seiko SNXS, which is the one that I have over here. It is just such an amazing watch, but sadly due to its popularity, the price right now is I think around $130. It's slightly more expensive than what I got last time, but it is still a good deal because I mean, look at it. I'll just let the watch speak for itself. It just looks super duper good. And lastly, the Orient Tri Star RA-AB0034Y19B. What kind of watch model name is this? But if you look past the super complicated name, you get a pretty good watch. Like Seiko 5, these Tri-Star models are a budget line from Orient. These are made with good quality and automatic movements. However, this Tri-Star lineup barely get any attention from the watch community because of its bad promotion and, to be honest, very horrible stock images from Orient themselves. I mean, I for one wouldn't even recommend this watch or wouldn't even look at this watch if it's not because of Minute Watch making a video from it. So huge shout out to Minute Watch for highlighting this watch. It just looks super good with the orangey brown dial. It looks super good. So you can consider this watch. It is priced at I think 100, slightly above 100 right now, but it's still a good watch to get. And there you have it. These are the 12 amazing, super duper good quality, affordable watches to give this Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. Now leave down the comments below what watch you hope to get this coming Christmas, okay? And feel free to check out my reviews on some of these watches. I'll link it below the description. Like the video and subscribe to this channel if you like watches and stuff from a perspective of a female beginner watch. I still haven't think of a name. I hope to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this year. So thanks for supporting guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Merry Christmas everyone.